a setup like this. It looks pretty ridiculous, right? In today's video, we'll test it out and see whether it's worth putting a GoPro on the DJI FPV drone and what results you can expect from it. Hey, what's up everybody, this is Mike. Welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are doing great today. And this has been a pretty interesting experiment for me. I saw so many people flying with a GoPro on top of the DJI FPV drone, so I just had to put one on my own and see what type of results I can get from it, what type of experience will I get, and whether that's something that I would recommend you do, because I've been receiving some questions from people asking me whether it's worth putting a GoPro on the DJI FPV drone, whether it's safe, and what type of footage you can get from it. So in today's video, I'll show you exactly that. First things first, let's start with how you can actually mount the camera on top of the drone, because many people are not aware how to do it. So to do it, you need to 3D print this mount right here, which I will link in the description. It fits right where there are 4 different screws on the top shell of the DJI FPV drone. You don't need to change those screws. They are the exact same ones that come installed on the shell of the drone. So you simply need to unscrew them, mount this on top, and just screw them back on, and it will sit very tightly, very securely. So as you can see, I have used the built-in feet of the GoPro Hero 9 Black, which go through this section right here, and from then on it's just a matter of tightening that, and I've used an M5 nut and a screw to hold everything together. From then on, you're ready to go. You have that contraption set up, and the GoPro is ready to be turned on and just be used with the drone itself. You need to angle it correctly, because when you put the drone on its feet, it will sit with the camera pointing forward. But you need to remember that if you plan to fly manually this drone, the camera will tilt depending on the angle that you have selected, and you need to make sure that the GoPro is also tilted pretty much at the same angle, so it captures the same type of angle of your footage. You don't want to put it like this, so it when you start flying, it will just look at the ground and you will be left with footage that looks very badly. So make sure you angle it a little bit. I think I angled mine at about 30 degrees, so when I fly forward, it actually records straight and the horizon is pretty much straight all the time. Now, my experience with this after I tried it for the very first time. My first ever try was on a very large open field where I would be able to find the GoPro in case it falls down, if it breaks or something happens. So I was flying very slowly, kind of safely, just to make sure that everything is okay. My first experience was that this thing flies very badly. I would say, I don't know how other people do it, because I've seen other creators use this with a GoPro Hero 9 Black especially, but the DJI FPV drone is heavy by itself, and when you put the heaviest GoPro that GoPro has ever released, when you put it on top, it becomes even heavier. So the flight characteristics of this drone are just trash, pure trash. It flies very badly. You have so many vibrations in your goggles, and it's really hard to actually focus on what you're doing, because you have so many things going on and so much shakiness that you see inside the goggles that for me it was hard to focus and hard to really do anything while flying with this drone. When you mount the camera on top of the drone, the total weight of the quadcopter becomes just shy of 1 kilogram, which is insanely heavy, and it's not a good way to experience FPV in my opinion. Now, of course, the best thing that you're getting from a setup like this is the GoPro quality. Why would anyone do this if it wasn't for getting that GoPro quality? Because let's be honest, this thing blows the DJI FPV drone out of the water. It's just so good, and it's really much better also in terms of high dynamic range, also in terms of stabilization. You can always use Real Steady Go, which is my software of choice for stabilizing my footage. And just the pure comparison between the two cameras is it's ridiculous. It's that much better, and especially if you're flying in good lighting, the quality is just insanely better on the GoPro. So for someone who doesn't have another FPV drone and wants to have a really nice, crispy, good looking quality coming from an FPV drone, you can use this. Personally, I would never use it again, because for me it is really bad in terms of flight performance. It's really hard to perform any FPV maneuvers with this, because I just don't feel confident in the whole package. I feel like this thing is going to drop. I feel like it's too heavy. It has a ton of prop wash. Like I mentioned, the vibrations were very strong, so it wasn't a good experience for me to try this setup. But I can see why some people are using this. If I didn't have other FPV drones, probably I would just close my eyes and just say, well, it is what it is, and keep flying like this, because I don't really like the quality that I'm getting straight from the DJI FPV camera. So it is something that you need to consider, whether that's something that is going to make you really stressed and mad. Because me being used to flying regular FPV drones where it's all about the good performance of the drone, this thing made a huge impression to me, and not in a good way. So to sum everything up, why would anyone use this? There are some pros and some cons, and I'm going to quickly go over them. So the pros of a setup like this is that you can get the GoPro Hero 9 Black quality. It's really much better compared to the DJI FPV camera. You have the option to use Real Steady, so your shots will be a lot smoother compared to rock steady stabilization on the DJI FPV drone. In case your drone fail-safes, you lose signal, you will still have the option to return home safely, because this is going to act like a Mavic when it loses signal, so it will just hover in place and start coming back to the home point when it regains that signal back. So that's a great thing when it comes to the safety aspect of flying the DJI FPV drone. It's really much safer compared to a regular FPV drone, where if you lose signal, it will just drop if you don't have a GPS module on it. However, the fact that this thing becomes almost 1 kilogram when you take off with this GoPro on the top means that it will perform very badly in the air. You will have a ton of vibrations. You will have some prop wash when you try to do anything but flying in straight line. So keep that in mind, and generally you will experience what flying a really heavy, underperforming drone feels like. So would I recommend you to do this? Honestly, no. If you don't have enough experience of flying drones, I would stay away from a contraption like this, because honestly I feel like it's adding too much stress on the drone, and because of that it's performing very badly. And sometimes if you freak out, you might do something that will damage not only the drone but also the GoPro, and it is a little bit easier to crash with a setup like this because it's just not performing as it should because of that extra weight. So I don't think that trade-off of having the GoPro quality is actually worth it. Yes, the stabilization is much better. However, I don't really feel like the risk is necessary. If you want to use the DJI FPV drone, I would personally stay away from putting the GoPro on top and just use that built-in camera, even if it doesn't have that stabilization and that dynamic range compared to the GoPro. Let me know what you think about this flying brick in the comment section below. I would love to hear your feedback. Thank you so much for watching. This is Mike from Drone Supremacy. I'll catch you in the next video. Stay safe and I'll see you soon. Ciao.